The mind can experience an amazing variety of things. We see some amazing documentaries on television about the world we live in, incredible nature documentaries showing different varieties of life, different phenomena. We've got all this amazing technology now. We get caught up in it all. We get caught up in it. Whatever is seen in whatever form in that dream, that it becomes. So we're being told that this is all the dream, it's all the dream of the Creator. We get caught up in it. We get caught up in the wonder and the drama of it all. One can also see what is obviously unreal, even as it is possible for one to dream one's own death. There is naught which is real, nor is there aught which is unreal. All this is made possible everywhere in this dream known as creation. Describing something as real or unreal is just a way of splitting things up. William Blake saw angels sitting in trees. Were these angels unreal or real? From a consensus point of view, they were unreal, because only William Blake was seeing them. From his point of view, they were more real than the tree which everybody else was seeing. So we can take our pick. We can either decide what William Blake saw was unreal, or what he saw was real. When you say it's unreal, then it's quite possible you're dismissing the reality and importance of the imagination. But it depends on your inclination. Just as one who is immersed in the dream sees the dream as utterly real, one who is immersed in this creation thinks that it is utterly real. That's the point. When William Blake sees an angel in a tree, the creation of the angel and the creation of the tree are both done by the mind. The angel is perhaps created more directly by the mind, but the tree is also created by the mind, but perhaps less directly, because we've got this story about electrical signals coming in through the senses, which are then translated into the image of the tree. And for some reason we seem to want that to be more real, because that's our consensus reality. Just as one goes from one dream to another, one goes from one delusion to another delusion, and thus experiences this world as utterly real. So this was an answer to the original question: how, if all this is a dream, do we experience it as real? Well, how do we experience a dream as real? We only dismiss the dream as unreal after the dream is over. But why do we experience it as real at the time? And the answer to that was given in the previous paragraph. Whatever is seen in whatever form in that dream, that it becomes. Whatever awareness experiences, that it becomes. When you're totally attentive to something, that is all that exists at that particular moment. If you're doing a project, if you're working on something, particularly something that you're passionate about, then that's all that exists at that moment. That's what you're involved in, that's what you become, that's what your awareness becomes. And we've got a story about this. Vasishta continued, "In this connection I shall narrate a legend to you, O Rama, to which please lend your ear. There once lived a mendicant who was devoted to meditation. His mind, having been purified by such meditation, came to possess the power to materialize its thoughts." This is one of these great stories about yogic powers. One day, being tired of continuous meditation, it having his mind fully concentrated, he thought of doing something. So this is an interesting scenario. He's actually tired of meditation, but his mind is fully concentrated, and he thought of doing something. He fancied birth as one who was illiterate and of a non-Brahmana family. Instantly he had become, as it were, a tribesman. there arose in him the feeling, I am Jivata. That was his name. This dream being roamed for some time in the city, also built of dream objects. One day he got drunk and slept. He dreamt that he was a Brahmana, endowed with knowledge of the scriptures. While he was living a righteous life, one day this Brahmana dreamt that he was a powerful king. He dreamt that he was a mighty emperor of unequalled glory. One day he indulged in royal pleasures, and after that slept and dreamt of a celestial nymph. So here's the awareness going from one thing to another, one notion to another, totally identifying with it. Similarly, this nymph one day dreamt that she was a deer, and this deer dreamt that it was a creeper. Surely, even animals behold dreams, for such is the nature of the mind, which can recollect what has been seen and what has been heard. I suspect even insects dream. I'm sure I witnessed a fly dreaming once. The deer became a creeper. The inner intelligence in the creeper saw in its own heart a bee. So maybe even plant life dreams. It became a bee, and the bee began to drink the nectar in the flowers on the creeper. It became attached to the nectar in one of those flowers, surely for its own destruction. At night, an elephant approached this creeper and plucked it along with the bee, and crushed it in its mouth. However, the bee, having seen the elephant, contemplated the elephant and became an elephant. The elephant was captured by a king. One day it saw a hive of bees, and on account of the memory of its own past birth, it became a bee. It began to drink the nectar of the flowers in wild creepers. It became a creeper. The creeper was destroyed by an elephant, but because the creeper had seen swans in the nearby lake, it became a swan. One day this swan was roaming in the company of many other swans. While the mendicant was meditating upon this swan, he was overcome by death. His consciousness therefore became embodied in this swan.